Hi everyone, welcome back to Coffee Books and Rain. I'm Rachel, and today I am actually drinking a cup of mint tea as it is getting closer to closing out the evening, and so I am about to take my puppies for their last evening walkabout. They have already had their dinner. I have already had my dinner, and I'm about to cozy up with them in bed, read a little bit. Gotta wash off this last remnants of makeup. My contacts were already bothering me, so you can certainly see that I have taken those out and decided my glasses were where it's at. Although I am possibly thinking about getting new glasses. I don't know. Maybe getting some dark ones. I don't know. I was at Target the other day and I walked into their like little optical shop and I was like, trying on different frames, and I don't know. The ones I liked were, of course, like the most expensive pair. So I was like, not today. But anyway, we're not talking about that, are we? We are talking about the book Song of the Dark Wood by Sheila Masterson. Now, this does say Fable Song number 1. And this book was actually pretty good. I will say 100% it is a romance. But it's like slow burn doesn't get. Is it spicy? No. But is it angsty? Yes. Like, it's like this forced close proximity that you're just like, get it over with already. But there's always a reason not to get it over with already. And I'm not even a romance reader person, and I'm like sitting here just like, ah. But anyway, let's dive into the summary real quick. Even my puppy's looking at me like, Mom, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm not okay, little buddy. I'm sorry. For centuries, the people of remote Ballybrine have kept the peace with their gods by sacrificing a red maiden to fairy souls from the mother's realm of the living through the dark wood to the wolf's realm of the dead. Soon it will be Rowan's turn. Ripped from her family as a young girl, Rowan Cleary has been forced into a cloistered life, learning to please the wolf and wield her spirit enchanting voice. Though none of the previous maids have survived their 5-year term, Rowan is determined to beat the odds and protect the women who have become family to her. When a deathly blight breaks out in the dark wood and the acting maiden is murdered, Rowan vows to strike a new bargain with the god of death to ensure her survival. The wolf has always been someone to fear, even more so now that the townspeople blame him for the blight. But he's far from the vengeful death god she expects. To unravel the mystery, Rowan must seduce the wolf. Soon, the attraction between them grows into a relentless magical force, threatening to shatter the delicate balance between realms and unleash a dangerous darkness eager to swallow their world. So there is a phrase that says this coming of rage, character-driven romance. And I think it's where it says coming of rage, not coming of age, but rage. And I kind of like, I get that. And it says this book is, it says song, but Song of the Dark Wood is a spicy, dark romantasy perfect for fans of feminine rage, strong female friendship, unique magic systems, and angsty romance. Well, my friend Annalicia would love this book, I think, because I know she's read some Rebecca Ross stuff and Hannah Witten's Foxglove King, so this would probably certainly be up her alley. I've not read those other ones, though I do think I own One Dark Window. I think it's on my shelf in the other room. Another thing is this one also blends, Song of Dark Wood, this one, blends kind of Red Riding Hood mixed with a hint of Hades and Persephone. And now that's part of like what the paragraph under the summary. So I'm just kind of including that as I'm talking to you guys about it. I didn't make it up. I didn't pull that out of my brain, although you can clearly see the references as you're reading it. So let's dive in. First things first is it says it's a spicy, dark romantasy. Spicy. I think it's 99% of the book is not spicy. Um, it's like everything is so on the edge of like the almost, because both of them are just so like on the verge of everything. And there's like, I guess they're supposed to be, because Rowan, like, she's been trained and told, okay, you're pretty much, you've got to go, you've got to seduce the wolf, and he's got to devour you. And the wolf, on the other hand, he's been down this road before. He is an immortal. He has devoured many a maiden and has just decided he's not gonna anymore. So he's pretty pent up. But the thing is when he does devour the red maidens, he does become more powerful. Now, I'm not going to tell you kind of the crux of why it does benefit him to, I guess, devour these souls of the Red Maidens, because I do think that is part of the narrative that you need to find out. But Rowan is a little angry at him for not following through. Because the longer that she goes to him, and he is like, would you like some cider? Would you like some tea? And she's like, no, I want you to take me to bed. And he's like, not today. Would you like to go to the garden and dig a hole or plant flowers? And she kind of gets upset, because she knows if she goes back to town, the townspeople are going to blame her for not completing her task or being what the wolf wants her to be. So they are blaming her for not completing her function. Even if the wolf is willing, he's very willing, because he really does like her. But he almost likes her too much, which is why he doesn't want to follow through. Because, well, yeah. Because I guess they do some things that are, I guess, you could call it like on top of your clothes sort of things. You could call it that. Because she has to wear white to show her purity. And so she has to ask him, well, can I change to red? And he says no. Even though previously he didn't sleep with one of the other red maidens, and he told her, yeah, you can wear red and that'll be fine. You can just pretend. Well, he won't let Rowan pretend. It's different with her. So again, it makes Rowan really angry that he is making up different rules and excuses for why she can't and others could or couldn't. So she's getting a little flustered. She's also getting really upset because the more times she goes back to her village of Ballybrine with wearing white, I guess, well, the more likely it is that the councilmen of her town, who are creepy, pervy old men, are leering at her and planning a ceremony that if the wolf doesn't do it, then we are going to do it on his behalf. And so she is terrified because there is already one super skeezy guy who has already made his intentions known, and it's so skin crawlingly gross, just horrible. And she tries so hard to play it off, but she is terrified to return. And so she lets the wolf know. She's like, look, I don't want to return like this time, because if I go back in white, then this is what's going to happen. Well, the wolf comes along and takes care of that problem. Well, like the people are scared of her at that point. They pretty much kind of kick her out of town because now they're scared of her and the wolf. So she kind of really can't pretty much return to Ballybrine. Um, so yeah, a lot. It's a very intense book, and so uh, and then the mother is supposed to be in the realm of the living, and she's supposed to be like also like a force of good, and I just feel like the mother is super shisty. Like there is no point in this particular story where I feel like the mother is really like a force of good at all. Like I think she has been pulling a wool over people's eyes like this whole time. And I'm not even saying that it's a spoiler. I am telling you that I had that feeling from the very beginning. And so if you read anything different, that is your opinion. And you just read until the end. You just tell me what you think when you read until the end. Um, but um, but I thought Rowan was a really good character. I think she's been raised to martyr herself for the people she loves. She is the youngest in her family, and her family just gave her away pretty much for the money that they would pretty much get. And the only time they really show up is pretty much on the day she is to be named as the Red Maiden, after the death of Orla, who was the previous Red Maiden. And it's really kind of sad because Orla was a very close friend. She was one who trained Rowan, and Rowan is the one who has to go out into the woods and try to retrieve Orla. But it's pretty heartbreaking because also Rowan ends up being the one who has to kind of ferry her soul, Orla's soul, kind of to the wolf's gates in order for her soul to pass on. And there is a small kind of voice conversation that happens that has to be heartbreaking for Rowan to hear as well, because as she's walking, she's not supposed to make eye contact with the ghosts. So as Rowan is walking and the ghosts are following behind her, and Rowan is singing singing a song that the ghost will, I guess, follow. The spirits will follow. Orla comes, I guess, behind her or maybe to her side, so Rowan can kind of see her kind of in her peripheral vision, and she makes a note or makes a kind of a comment that she looks the same, and yeah, it kind of brings tears to her eyes that she's gone. But it would be really hard to kind of like do that for someone that you really cared about. But she does. She helps ferry them from the mother's realm through the dark wood to the realm of the dead. But she also has an ability, Rowan does, in order to sing life back into things. And when I say that, I don't mean like into someone who is dying or who is dead, but there are some garden grounds within the wolf's kind of keep, so to speak. And while she's there, she does sing. Now, she's not specifically singing at some points in the gardens. Maybe she's just singing inside the house. But the wolf starts to notice, and his name is Connor, just by the way, he goes by Connor, that the gardens are coming back to life. So he starts to gift Rowan the gardens and just tells her whatever she needs, whether it be seeds or soil or equipment, just let him know and he will get it for her, because the gardens are starting to thrive where that's never been the case, or for such a long time it's not been the case. And it seems as though her presence and her voice seems to be able to bring these things back to life. And there's a lot of other sort of things that kind of happen with regards to her singing. And so that is a very important factor as well when it comes to this particular story, is there is something very important about Rowan singing. I thought it was pretty good. Now, is it perfect? No. Do I give it, I give it 4 stars, 3.75, 4 stars. Go ahead and round it up to 4. Again, I'm not always the biggest fan of spicy romance, and I'm kind of glad that it kind of held off on the spicy romance, but my goodness, could we have held off on some of this angsty, at your throat romance? We're so pent up that we're at each other's throat angsty romance. We could have done with a little less of that, because it seems constant. Just saying, we need to just figure it out. We are grown-ups. But anyway, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you have not liked and subscribed, I hope you will. And I want to thank you so much for joining me on this journey. I hope you have a great one.